All right, hello everyone, and welcome to CircuitStream's course information session, an exciting information session that we have for you all today, specifically around our XR Project Accelerator course. Now, before I do continue on, I do want to make sure that everyone can hear me and see me. So in the chat, if you can give me a thumbs up, a yes, that you can hear me and see me, please. So I'm just waiting. I see Nicholas, yes. Carlos with the thumbs up. Thank you, Danielle, Jeff, Karina, Scott. Here, yes, see, no. So if you are having issues seeing, please refresh your tab. That should help it out here. I hope you can all see the slide, CircuitStream info session. That should be presented there onto the screen here in front of everyone. But again, super exciting course information session today. Slide is big, cam is small for everyone. Yep. So I do want to make sure that you can see the content and not so much with my video and my face here. But I would like to ask everyone who's currently joined onto this workshop and webinar here, where are you tuning in from? So I myself am located in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Our headquarters are out of Calgary, Canada as well. But we have colleagues located from all over the world. So I have colleagues backstage, Kyle, Vlad, Dayon, Jerry, some of our other colleagues, either based out of Calgary or Toronto. But Danielle is from Washington, Debbie from Georgia, Vlad, our colleague, and Kyle from Toronto. Jeff, good seeing you, New York City, Karina, Indiana, John from New Jersey, Shannon from Florida, one of our special guests today, Scott from Kansas, Devontae from Los Angeles, Nicholas from New York, and Carlos from LA as well. And Jason, can't forget you, Chicago. So great to see you all tuning in from around North America, some of you from abroad here. Now, today we will be going into some more information about what is our XR Project Accelerator course, who we are here at CircuitStream, what do we do if you are new to us. We'll invite one of our instructors and the head of education here at CircuitStream to talk a little bit more about the course, his experiences, how he got into this field, space, and industry. Then we'll bring Dr. Shannon Bailey onto the stage here, one of the CircuitStream alumni. She'll go through how she got into the space, what kind of piqued her interest, why she had joined us here at CircuitStream, and some of the experiences that she had in our course and program here. Now, let me just tighten this up. Perfect. My mic just fell down on my lap, but I'm glad that this is going on well here. So don't want to take too much of your time here today. I'll do quick introductions. We'll get Jerry joining us. We'll get Shannon joining us. I'll wrap it up with some resources and information, and we will have an in-depth Q&A session with Jerry, Shannon, and myself to answer any questions you all may have. So feel free to toss in questions into the chat. The questions tab to the right, just beside the chat tab, that's probably the best place to toss in your questions. It's easier for us to track what hasn't been answered. So at the end of that Q&A, or at the end of this presentation for the Q&A session, we'll be able to track easier and really shed some light on how the experiences are in the course, what's the structure like, the outcomes, how Shannon was able to do work and learn at the same time, anything really. So toss in any questions that you may have. So without further ado, my name is Stefan, and I'm on the admissions team here at CircuitStream. I have over 6 years of experience in the tech industry, working with travel IT companies, learning management systems, ERP and business integration platforms, and now in the beautiful, lovely world of virtual reality and augmented reality. Now, I'll be doing a quick introduction here, who we are here at CircuitStream, what do we do. Then we'll go into inviting Jerry onto the stage, followed by Shannon, more about our course, what you can expect to create, what is possible to create in the program, and then we'll do the Q&A session at the very end as well. But a little bit about CircuitStream. So who we are, what do we do? Well, in 2015, everyone was kind of on the hype train to build VR and AR applications, to be content creators, essentially. But we noticed a gap in actually helping people learn how to develop and create these experiences or take their projects to the next level. And in 2015, instead of joining all the content creators, we went a different route. We went to create educational programs, training materials, really courses for anyone who's looking to dive into this as a beginner or to accelerate themselves as someone who's already experienced in this field. Now, since 2015, we've taught over 30,000 people how to create, manage, and implement both virtual reality and augmented reality experiences from scratch using Unity. Now, CircuitStream is also a Unity certified training partner. And training partners are selected based on their knowledge, focus on quality, and commitment to providing the highest level of Unity training to anyone around the world, really. Now, CircuitStream is also an official channel partner, and briefly, it's just helping Unity create development services and content for different fields in areas like architecture, engineering, transportation, and so on. Now, we do also work quite closely with Oculus. We are Microsoft mixed reality partners as well. If you do need more information about that, feel free to reach out to us, the team, and we'll be sure to shed some more light on that there. Now, again, the main goal of this course information session is obviously to shed some light on the program, answer any questions anyone may have about CircuitStream, about the course, any other courses that we have, really just helping and supporting you getting all the information you need, all your questions answered, to either be able to make a decision, to know what steps to take in the future, or just what resources and best practices to look at. But essentially, our XR Project Accelerator course is considered our advanced program. It's essentially tailored for those who are and geared towards learners with a background in Unity who desire a career in the XR industry, or to improve, upskill, complete, and really polish up some ideas and projects they have in mind or have already been created. And just briefly, again, really advancing you, giving you the skills, upskilling you there, accelerating your growth in your projects. It's 8 weeks long, 6 hours per week, 2 1.5-hour sessions for 3 hours of classes per week, plus 3 separate hours of one-on-one mentorship time to work on your own personal projects, ideas, capstone projects, whatever it may be. Hence the acceleration. Essentially, 24 hours of private one-on-one sessions with our team to work on your project, polish it up, make it feel and look excellent, and ready to be placed on some store, market, or published somewhere else out there. Now, it's an honor and a pleasure to have Jerry Medeiros join us today. He's our head of education and lead instructor here at CircuitStream. He has over 10 years of game development experience, over 5 years of AR and VR development experience. And today with Jerry, we'll just be asking him a few questions, really just going into his journey into XR, how he got started with all of this, what he's currently working on, what processes he's using, and he'll touch a little bit about on his portfolio and projects. And again, if you have any questions, toss them into the chat, into the questions tab, and we'll be able to answer those for you. But Jerry, thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me and see me well? Is it just fine?
Works for me. Let's just see in the chat if people can hear you or see you. So if you can let us know in the chat, Devontae with a thumbs up, Mike with a thumbs up, Corina, Danielle, Kyle, perfect.
Nice.
Perfect, Jerry. Yeah, I mean, Jerry, just to kick things off, tell us a little bit about your journey into XR, how you got started in it, what piqued your interest, and essentially your journey up until recent.
Nice. Well, actually, I started in the gaming industry like 10 years ago, around 10 years ago. So I worked in the gaming industry for quite a while. So at that time when we began, it was most like web games for Facebook. Actually, before Facebook, like other social networks. So I started in the gaming industry. Before Android was like a thing, we had like this feature phones, were super simple. So I went to the university for a game development course at the time. It was not super popular here. People did not believe that very much, but it's something that I like, something that I enjoyed doing. So I started from there, built like thousands of mobile games and all those stuff. And at some point, especially here in Brazil, where I live, there was like a shortage of people able to work on XR. And the big companies here, they started to demand that. So I joined one company that developed training and simulations in VR. So basically, I started to work with them. Like I needed to learn everything from scratch. We didn't have like Oculus and everything as we have nowadays. It was quite challenging at that time. Even Unity was not super prepared for VR, so it was like a lot harder than it is today. But basically, that was like it. It's not something that I planned in the beginning. I started in the gaming industry at some point. There were lots of opportunities. VR is something that I like a lot. AR as well, like the XR and workspace is something that I enjoy a lot. So I just was curious to see how it go and join a couple of companies, contribute to a couple of companies that build those types of projects.
Interesting. So it started off with game dev, got into Unity, then moved your way into VR and AR. So tell us a little bit about some of the work you've done specifically with virtual reality and augmented reality.
Nice. Yeah, that's an interesting question, and it's something that is always a little bit difficult to answer because we have like those companies, they're super big, and we have like NDAs. We cannot disclosure lots of information about what we do for them. But I worked for in a couple of projects for big companies such as Fiat, for example, in the military here in Brazil. So the Brazilian army, they have like different trainings for the personnel. They use VR, and they were using VR even before it was like a cool thing. Everyone was working on that. So I worked specifically, for example, when they were replacing a specific rifle that they use here, and they would like to train everyone on how to assemble, clean, disassemble that. So we made VR training for that. I also worked for projects for the mining industry, so people could learn how is the process, how to operate the machines and things like that. The oil and gas, so we module a couple of oil extraction platforms, so people could train how to move around that in a safe way without needing to go actually to the platform, because that's quite expensive. So lots of trainings and simulations in those different. So mainly in the oil and gas, mining, and the military industry. One interesting project that I worked on was a ship loader training. Like when people have the iron ore, they need to get that into a ship. Only a couple of guys are prepared for that in the world. So it's like a very expensive role. Not everyone is able to do that, and super dangerous, because if you don't do that like in a balanced way, you can just break the ship in half. So we developed this training simulator for people to learn how to actually load the ship, and the physics were super accurate. Like we needed to do lots of calculations on how to make sure that's not gonna drown or break in half. So yeah, a couple of projects that I can mention. Unfortunately, I cannot show them. I cannot tell a lot more than that. But yeah, a couple of interesting projects in the training workspace for different industries.
That makes sense. So, worked on a lot of AR, VR projects there. And I do have another question here for you, saying that some of the people joining us today on this workshop or webinar might have Unity experience already, have developed their own VR, AR projects and applications. Saying that you yourself have been in this field for several years and have worked with AR, VR in past years, how much has changed, would you say? Seeing technology changes, best practices, ways you do things, how much has changed since your first AR VR project some years ago to today?
What I think that changed, two things I think changed a lot. So the first one is the access to headsets. Like nowadays, you can have like you can work on games because lots of people have an Oculus Quest or a Vive out there. When I started, it was like a business corporate thing. So we didn't even imagine making games for that, like a thing, because it wouldn't sell. The headsets were super expensive at the time, and also hard to find, especially here where I am. So this is the first thing that changed. Like everyone or almost everyone can actually have access to a headset nowadays. The second thing is the stack of technology. So nowadays we have lots of SDKs, plugins. Unity makes it a lot easier to write VR interactions for different headsets. So you can, for example, write only one application and deploy that to a Vive, or optimize that and publish that to a Quest. So nowadays we have lots of different SDKs that we can use, and they help us with the interactions, like grabbing things, throwing things,
Mhm.
interacting with things, and we can actually focus on what we want, like the project that we want to develop. And basically, this I'm gonna talk about that in a couple of minutes, but that's like what we bring into the accelerator. Like we focus on polishing and making the application really uh, comfortable, immersive, because the SDKs are there. So we don't need to care about how I'm going to write a code that I can deploy to the Vive. How can I interact with the hardware? So all those things are covered in the SDKs, and it makes our life a lot easier. So those are the big changes that I can see.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing, and again, seeing that some of our audience here have been exposed to maybe created their own Unity projects. Things have changed in recent years, right? How to approach it, how to develop for it, push it out to these new headsets we have on the market. So it makes sense, always got to kind of brush up on your skills and really just to keep up with the new tech and trends and things and best practices, right?
Yeah.
Perfect, wonderful. So now, in terms of any kind of current work you're doing, so you mentioned your portfolio has been military work, mining, and minerals. Um, Tell us a little bit about what you're working on today. So you're the head of education here at Circus String, creating different contents. What are some other things they're working on?
Yeah, so again, for the professional projects here at Circus String, we have the same problem with the NDA. So it's hard to tell like what kind of projects we're doing, but basically training for different big companies out there on how to operate complex machines and those things. But mainly what I have been doing lately is creating course content. Like with the education team, we created two very nice projects for the accelerator. For example, one is like a kitchen simulator where you can actually cut things, operate the appliances, move around the kitchen. So we use that to demonstrate what are good interactions and what are not good interactions in VR. We made a very nice interior design AR application as well, where you can decorate your house, place pieces of furniture, change the colors of the wall, and then we can teach like every single aspect of AR, like what is important to have a polished AR application. We created a game like an idle clicking game for the C# course as well. So now we are focusing on building projects that are well polished, interesting, and also used as teaching material for our courses. So all of our courses are very project based. Like we have a problem, we have a project that can be used as an example, and then we just teach the main concepts that are contained in that project. So yeah, I have been currently working on that, like interesting projects that can also be used as resources for our students.
Right. Perfect. Awesome. Well, Jerry, thank you so much for telling us a little bit about yourself, how you got into it, what you're currently doing with the work here. So with this, feel free to join us later on for the a little bit more about the Project Accelerator course that you'll be covering in about, I'd say, 15-20 minutes or so. But I'll catch you in a bit here. All right.
All right. See you in a while.
All right. Take care, Jerry. Wonderful. So with that, now Jerry did mention that he's creating different content. He's instructing and teaching the XR Project Accelerator course. Now I do want to share a couple of videos here, some examples of projects that needed touching up, polishing, and have come out and resulted into some great experiences. Something that is possible to polish up, touch up, or create in the XR Project Accelerator course here. So the first one that I will share is a virtual reality kind of example and simulation specifically for VR training, a sprinkler system. So I'm going to share the video here, probably play it for 20, 30 seconds, just to give you an idea of what something was created, but then taken to the next level, polished up, really seeing the interactions and the physics happening, the steps that pop up here. So lots of different interactions happening here for this VR training. Very polished up, graphics look quite nice here. Transportation, locomotion, touching things, moving them around. Perfect. So that was just one example of VR that I wanted to share to you all. Something that was polished up and essentially accelerated. Now, another example that I want to toss in that's not so much VR, but this one will be more so mixed reality. So I guess you could say it's augmented reality, but with a touch of VR there as well. Again, something that started off initially as just an idea, was created, but then taken to the next level, polished up and made it feel much more real and more immersive. So I'm going to share this other video with you all here. So this is a gamified kind of mixed reality, virtual reality, augmented reality experience, specifically kind of related to the medical industry here. Gamified, too much pressure, not enough pressure, really kind of going into the little features there that make this seem fun and immersive. Perfect. And then with that, I do want to share one last video here of this one's more so a game kind of that someone had polished up and created. Also, what is possible to help come out with in the XR Project Accelerator course. This one is kind of like a data game, but I'll share it here with you. Hopefully you can see how someone was able to really create this environment and add some little features to it that make it seem more excellent and real.
Look at what you've gotten yourself into. All you had to do was pay up on time, but no, you forced our hand, you stupid junkie. Time to get comfy with your brand new implant. We can't let you hear, speak, or recognize anyone while you make this up to us. What you will see is how much you owe us. So use the toy we gave you to sneak up behind these people and steal their...
So a couple of examples there for you all, just to kind of picture, you know, what kind of polished projects could come out of the program here and really help you out there. So Devontae, feel free to refresh the page if you are having some issues there. But I hope that kind of shed some light for you all. More than happy to share some of those examples for you all later. But now I would like to take the time to invite Dr. Shannon Bailey onto the stage here. As she's making her way on, I'll do a quick little introduction. So Dr. Shannon Bailey earned her PhD in human factors and cognitive psychology. She is a human factors scientist at Immertech, studying the effectiveness of virtual reality for medical training. Now, she has over 10 years of experience designing and testing training simulations and educational games. And her research has resulted in peer-reviewed publications, a co-authored book chapter, and award-winning conference proceedings papers on training effectiveness. So Shannon, thank you very much for joining us today. It's great to have you. Really a pleasure and an honor. You know, similar to kind of how we were approaching things with Jerry here. Just a friendly chat, you know, tell us a little bit more about yourself if I haven't covered everything for you, and how you first got involved in VR.
Sure. So first, thanks for having me. I very much enjoyed the class, which is why I'm here today to talk about that to other people. I have actually been working in VR since about 2015 on the training, design, and evaluation side. So when you see VR trainers, somebody has to actually test and make sure that they work before they go out there into the real world. So that's my job. So I currently work for a company where we're working on a VR trainer for surgeons, and we're working mostly with medical device companies and with surgeon instructors in the US on that. But before that, I was working similar to Jerry with some military VR trainers. So we were looking at a maintenance trainer. So sometimes there are big pieces of equipment that you can't, fly everybody out to train on a big piece of equipment. So we develop it in Unity. And before I took the class, I was mostly just working on the design and the evaluation side without really knowing the Unity side. And after taking the class, now I actually understand the Unity part.
That makes sense. So you got into VR a long time ago. You were doing some research there and designing different simulations and experiences. So, seeing that you were working in the industry prior, and what kind of got you interested in learning more, or why seek out further education if you were already working with a VR company or related to VR and AR?
Sure. I don't know if other people out there already have some VR industry or academic experience, but it's a little bit difficult to be in VR if you're not a programmer or a Unity person already, just because that is really the dominant way that the applications are made. And so I really wanted to understand better how so I was designing the applications, but I wanted to understand better how the back end was working. And then I also just wanted to be able to communicate with my dev team better. So when I was asking for different features for the learning outcomes to be better, I needed to understand in Unity how that would look. So it's really helped me mostly with being able to prototype quickly in Unity and then show my team what I'm talking about when I say, okay, these are the features and characteristics we need for the learning outcomes to be effective. And they understand me better now because I'm actually speaking.
That makes sense. Yes. So essentially in the industry before, but looking to add to your skills, really to speak to it better, understand the whole process, some of the little features inside these projects, and essentially now being able to not only prototype things quickly, create your own projects and experiences that are, very immersive, but you're able to obviously speak to it better and really manage the teams that are working on some projects at Immertech, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's helped out so much already. Now that when I have an idea, I can actually show it to my team instead of just trying to describe, something that's in my head.
Perfect. And now, so, you were looking for something to add to your skills there. You found CircuitStream. Why join CircuitStream? What kind of pushed you over to join our course here?
Yeah, I actually had done a few other classes before this and in different areas and just never really felt like I was progressing as much as I wanted to. Still felt a little bit not confident in my skill set with Unity at work. So I did take the full course and several other courses and workshops through CircuitStream, mostly because of the mentorship. And I think that that's something that I did really like and was unique. Having that one-on-one time to make sure that my project was moving forward, something that I couldn't necessarily Google, having a mentor to ask the questions to was so helpful that it's insane how helpful it was. And I wish I had actually learned Unity a lot earlier.
Perfect. That makes sense. So, join some of our workshops, webinars, took the leap to join us for the courses, really because you needed something to help guide you, really to kind of hold your hand throughout the process, giving you the best steps, practices. Okay, cool. And so now that you've wrapped up our course here at CircuitStream, seeing that you're one of our alumni here, we kind of mentioned how it's been able to help you with the teams and projects you're working on at the moment. But what does the future look like for you after taking the course, and what else are you going to do in this field and area?
Yeah, I really have enjoyed taking the class because I feel like my skill set, I feel just so much more confident in it. So now I am more leading teams at work now. That was already starting to happen before, but now I feel a lot more comfortable with leading the teams because I understand the technical side of it. So I previously understood the science side of it and the evaluation and data side of it, but now I understand also how it's developed. So it's definitely helped me so much with my team, and I see that moving forward for myself and also my future career in virtual reality, just being able to speak better to the Unity side.
Perfect. Wonderful. And now, let's say outside of the classes and the one-on-one sessions, how else was CircuitStream able to help you out in terms of maybe some other values or networking, whatever it may be there?
Oh, I still talk to a couple people from the class. I can't say enough about the mentors and the teachers that Circuit Stream had. I'm not paid to say any of this at all. I really thought the mentorship was so great that's why I reached out back to you to say you have some really great instructors here.
Thank you, and it means a lot. It means a lot. That's what we love doing, and really just creating a strong relationship for supporting anyone throughout the course, after the course, and years to come.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Shannon, I really do appreciate you joining on, chatting with me here about, how you got into VR and AR, what your experience with Circuit Stream was, what you're doing now after you've taken our courses. So thank you very much for joining me. As with Jerry, I look forward to catching you on the Q&A session at the very end here. So for anyone in the audience here who has specific questions for Shannon, whether about the current work she's doing, what she created in the program, how she's working with this tech now, feel free to toss them into the chat or the questions tab, and she'll be back at the end for the Q&A session. So thanks, Shannon. I'll catch you in a bit.
Thank you.
Perfect. So with that, I'm slowly going to start moving into, the student stories and projects. Who's currently taking our course? What are they working on? What was their background? And where are they now? Then I'll slowly talk about the industry, the trends. We'll get Jerry back on stage to touch up on a little extra points here about the Accelerator course. And then we'll all be there for the Q&A session at the very end. But essentially, this curriculum is, as I mentioned earlier, geared towards learners with a background in Unity who desire a career in the XR industry or to improve and complete their projects and ideas. So who's taking our course? And I mean, currently, we have a batch of students coming from all different backgrounds and industries, from military, healthcare, education, just kind of personal interest, looking to create something cool and market it. And just touching up a little bit on about, what are they currently building? What are they currently working on? Well, we have one guy who's come in, basic personal interest, and he's looking to create a larger social setting and rooms, essentially, a wild, wild west style, similar to Westworld, for anyone who may have seen that TV show. He wants to create a Westworld. So he started off with a little project, knows how to kickstart his own VR scene, add the characters, models, but now he's looking to take that to the next level, really to add conversations, add more models, make it seem super real. So when he does have his own Westworld VR up and running, anyone and everyone can join, interact with, the pubs, the bars, the horses, other cowboys and cowgirls around the environment. So that's just one project that's currently being worked on in the Accelerator course, a personal interest. Now, there are a few related to work. So we have a documented filmmaker and cinematographer currently taking our course, working with volumetric capturing. And his project that he started off was halfway done, but really needed a push. His project is a multi-sensory AR experience based off of a folklore story. So essentially a mobile AR app to use in any setting and gain sight into this other dimension, I guess, for the folklores that was based on the culture that he's building it on, and that someone can interact with. So, kids looking to learn more about these stories, whipping out this mobile experience, whether it's in their backyards, at the park, and interacting with these different, folklore characters in the experience. Again, touching it up, adding conversations and actions, select this and that, popping up, really using AR, location-based and measurements in how to really make this real for anyone who's using his folklore story mobile AR experience. And then some other quick examples here. I won't take too much of your time, but essentially there's a career changing and upskilling. Someone who is really moving away from her work, starting up her own business, and using VR for training medical professionals, mainly nurses. As she mentioned, really there's a gap for these nurses. Though there's a lot of things currently out there for doctors and surgeons, nurses are the largest workforce in the medical industry. And she's creating a VR training simulation specifically for nurses there. So started her own company. She's got some devs working for her. And again, really looking to speak to those devs better, help them create the experience and the vision that she has in mind for these nursing professionals. And then the last one that I do want to add here is another guy who's come in working towards a work and a personal application for autistic education, really providing a virtual access to different spaces like zoos or let's say other parks in this time of COVID and the pandemic, really helping these children have a space that they can go to, be immersed, interact with, and kind of removing the need to, whether obviously now because of COVID they can't go, but really also removing the need to have a support worker or a guardian alongside them the whole time, where they can just immerse themselves, interact with different objects, and really just make it as real as possible for the children there. But with that, what have our students done after taking our courses and programs? Well, we had Mike Oakes, who took our Circuit Stream course, and just not too long ago, actually, I want to say a month or two ago, he landed a software engineer role with Unity here in Calgary, actually. We also had Jennifer Swan, who's a VR content creator, take our course, and just months after, I want to say, got accepted into the Oculus Launchpad program using her Circuit Stream project that she created. And now she's getting support from Facebook and Oculus, a $30,000 grant to continue her work and project that was created with us here at Circuit Stream. And the last example I want to share is Matt DeLallo, XR designer, also someone along with various other people who took the Circuit Stream program, still speak with him today, helping him out with his company that he founded after Circuit Stream, Lucky VR. And, again, lots of different opportunities coming out, and we're always happy to help any way we can. But, we've had people join us from all walks of life and from various places, from Apple, Microsoft, T-Mobile, Maxar Technologies, various post-secondary institutions. It's honestly been a pleasure and an honor to have these people join us for the courses and programs. And what does the industry look like? What does the future look like? Why upskill or accelerate or advance yourself with VR and AR development? Well, there's a lot of companies currently investing in this technology. And as I mentioned, there's the big players, Google, Facebook, but then there's a lot of other ones right there. There's Real Space, there's Deep AR, there's some other larger ones, IKEA with their mobile AR app, obviously Snapchat using their AR lenses. But, you name it, a lot of companies are slowly, if not already, started investing into this. And it's just going to continue growing. So a great time to get in. And, seeing that this course is designed for someone looking to change careers, or just simply upskill and polish up a project. There's lots of careers in XR that could be of interest to you, from being a developer, designer, manager, or an artist, some sort of implementation lead or engineer. Lots of different opportunities out there, really tailored and could be used based on your previous background experience, or, just what your passion is. If your passion is art, getting into the 3D technical artist role. If your passion is engineering and testing, QA engineer. So lots of different opportunities available. And we're also always more than happy to help guide you and direct you to what may be the best suited for you there. And the industry looks great. I mean, in terms of XR skills, it is an advantage to have. Why we use Unity is that 60% of the world's XR content is made with Unity. There's over 601% demand growth for those with Unity and Unreal skills. So lots of opportunity and room to join the industry. 57% projected Unity developer job growth over the next 3 years. And then they said that this year, supposedly 1.1 million US programming jobs were expected to go unfulfilled. So lots of opportunities to get into it, upskill, advance your projects, add to your portfolio, and really, really kind of accelerate yourself in this field and domain. And then lastly, 1,400% projected AR, VR job growth this year. And those with Unity skills are set to have $20,000 increase in salary or more in salary than those without. So another reason why we like to focus on Unity in our courses here. But kind of reflecting back to that last slide there, 1,400% demand growth for AR, VR engineers. And then look at that just compared to all the other development or engineering roles that are out there. It's huge, and it's just going to keep growing for the world of VR and AR. But I do want to take this time to re-invite Jerry back onto the stage here. Jerry will be going into a little bit more information about the XR Project Accelerator course. he's one of the instructors there, so he's going to talk about some of the students he's teaching, how it's structured, what they're working on, and then answering any questions you guys may have, or we'll save it at the very end for the Q&A. But Jerry, thank you again for joining us.
Hello. So I'm back. Can everyone hear me and see me well? Just quick AV check. If you are hearing me, I would say everyone is. It's just all right. Great. Cool. All right, so I would like to talk a little bit about the Accelerator course, like what is the core of this course and what we are seeking to provide in there. So this is our more advanced course, a little bit more advanced course. We assume that people already have experience with Unity and a little bit of experience with 3D as well. So in this course, we're going to be focusing a lot on working on a project that you already have or something that you want to build. So that's why we have like 3 hours of one-on-ones per week, not only one. You're going to be working with one of our experts, not only like a random one, but the best one for your project. So at the beginning of the course, we assess what you want to build. If this is something AR using the HoloLens, we're going to be assigning you to an expert that have a HoloLens experience with that. If it's a VR thing, it's going to be like the best fit with our instructors. That's very tailored to your project. So whatever you want to build, so maybe you already have a project, but it's not running smoothly. So you want to polish that. You want to improve the performance, that we can focus on that. Or maybe the interactions are not super immersive and they don't feel good, so we can work on the look and feel of a project. All the things that Unity offer, we can be working on them. And this course is divided in, you can go to the next one, Steph, thanks. All right, thanks. And we divide this course in labs. So a lab is basically one aspect of a project that we're going to be working on. So it's very hands-on. The first one is immersive experience design. So this course is on design. We're going to be learning what makes a great VR and AR experience, how to polish that from a design point of view, what kind of interactions are possible, how to locomote how to make the locomotion system, how not to cause motion sickness to the users, how to use the art piece, like the aesthetics, in a way that it makes sense. So it's gonna be like a designer gonna be thinking about bad aspects and good aspects of VR applications out there, analyzing them and applying those concepts to our projects. So we have one lab on AR. This is going to be on more complex AR interactions. So we're going to be talking a little bit about location-based AR, how to detect planes, how to work with scale, so how to make really good mobile AR applications. Then we have one on VR. We're going to be learning the top-notch SDK out there. We're going to be using the XR Interaction Toolkit to learn how to build complex and simple interactions in VR in a good way, make them feel really, really polished. So what we're doing here is assuming that you already know a little bit of VR or AR, you already know how to write like simple things, but we want to push it forward. We want to make it like the best experience ever, so you can actually ship that, you can publish that wherever you want it. So what is the type? My great typo for lab 4. I didn't see it. Anyway. And okay, yeah, the last one should be 4, not 2. All right, no worries. And then we have one lab on optimization and publish. So we're gonna be learning how to profile our application, find the bottlenecks, identify what we can improve. So we know that a couple people are deploying for the Oculus Quest. It's not a super powerful, so we need to take care of the frame rate, and there are a couple of strategies in there. So we go over how to identify the bottlenecks, how to work on them, how to improve it, and then how to publish for different platforms. So it's like a complete course. We're gonna be working on the main concepts and the main aspects of building a very polished and finished application. So by the end of that, you're gonna those are the learning outcomes, like you're gonna be having at the end of that. So advance your foundation AR VR skills. So we're gonna be pushing forward, like what else is possible to do, how to make physics interactions, how to use maths to calculate things in 3D. Like how can I make complex interactions come to life? How to build 3D and C# skills. So not only the basic ones, but the very advanced things of C#. We're gonna be working with all the concepts for object-oriented programming, for example, how to make things in a scalable way, organized way. It's not like learning how to write an application, but write that in a way that you can extend in the future, that you can share your code, that you can work with a team. Advanced design and development topics, not only the development side, but also the design. Like how can I make this feel good, working the aesthetics as well. Polish, accelerate, and complete your project. So that's like the main goal. Everything that we do in the classes is to prepare you for your project. And during the one-on-ones, you're going to be working with an expert to make your project finished. And also, you're going to be in contact with lots of brilliant people that are in different industries in the classes. So our students, they are always sharing ideas. They are testing each other's application and coming up with suggestions. So you have like access to our Slack channel where there are thousands of people there sharing jobs, opportunities. You can actually reach out to people from different industries and get feedback from them. So those are the main outcomes, focusing specifically on completing an entire project. Like the project that you come, we're going to assess that, assign you to the best instructor, and make sure that you have your project complete and in good shape in the end.
Perfect. No, thank you, Jerry. Thanks for shedding light on those points there, and kind of echoing what you were saying, Jerry. Really, the course is about advancing the skills, accelerating those applications or ideas to completion, kind of like loading you up in a cannon and firing you into the app store or the market that you're looking to join, right? And there's a few things to really keep in mind, right? It's what makes an app a quality and completed app or project, right? There's always this core kernel or central piece that really stands out because it is excellent. And this usually comes from either your core skill set, your background, being able to apply it to your projects. And this will really set your app and project and make it better than the competition out there. And some of the questions that I get about the Accelerator course is why these different labs? Why these labs? So I'll touch up on that a little bit, but feel free to add there as well, Jerry. But essentially, there are things that will stop you from getting that quality app or that excellent finished state. And those things are almost always multidisciplinary things, right? So if you're not an artist, the art will be missing out, or that's the hardest thing to bring to life in your project. If you're not an engineer, it'll be the bugs and the quality control issues on how to keep your app functioning. So that's why we cover all those kind of bases there. Starting off with design, understanding what something should be, spreading that belief to others, covering the feeling, the touching, the audio, field of view, which then relates to AR and VR. Because being a professional in design, knowing the AR and VR side of things that we cover in those labs will, again, covering the multidisciplinary things, will help you get that excellent, polished up project at the very end. Beautiful. So with that, now I'm going to continue on here. Take about 5 minutes to wrap things up. Then I'll invite Shannon back into the stage to join us. But essentially, we have a lot of different offerings. If you joined us on this workshop and webinar and you're like, maybe I'm not as experienced as I could be or should be to be able to join the Accelerator course. Well, no worries at all. We do have our beginner-friendly XR development with Unity program. The next course starts February 15th. This one's 10 weeks long, 4 hours per week, 3 hours in class, 1 hour private session to start off your own personal projects and ideas if you're completely new to this area. And the full price of this course is $39.50. Now, if you're like, Steph, thank you for this great course information session. I'm experienced in Unity. I'd like to add to my skills. I'd like to create a polished up project. Well, I invite you guys to check out this XR Project Accelerator course, whether it's downloading the syllabus or reaching out to Kyle, Vlad, or myself. Again, everything is live and online. This one is 8 weeks long compared to the 10 weeks, and it comes with 6 hours of instruction per week compared to the 4 hours in the 10-week program. So 3 hours in class, 2 1.5-hour sessions, and then 3 separate hours of one-on-one mentorship support to accelerate and advance those projects that you're looking to polish up and create over those 8 weeks there. Now, again, really advancing your skills, supporting the design and the development, giving you the little tools, features, kind of advanced nuggets that you can implement into your projects, making it excellent, making it feel more real, ready to be placed on a market or store or published elsewhere. And again, 6 hours of class per week, 3 in class, 3 private sessions over 8 weeks. Now, let's say you're super advanced already, or you've just done the beginner one, or you're looking to get into it, not really wanting to get the whole picture and the whole process down. There are various shorter courses that we have to offer, ranging from C# to mobile AR, XR design, Quest development, 3D art, prototyping in Unreal. I actually think that we have canceled this one for the moment. But we do have a couple of other HoloLens specific related courses for any folks that are looking to just specifically focus on the HoloLens and not VR or other things in AR there. Now, a Mac or a Windows computer will do, or an Android iPhone if you're building a mobile application. So no matter what headset you'd like to build and develop for, we would be more than happy to help you build that, help you push it out to one of those headsets and to publish it on a store ready to go. Now, if you have any questions, or if you would like to join us or just chat, consult with us, we are always more than happy to do so. You can reach out to myself, to my colleague Kyle, to my colleague Vlad. They're in the chat here as well. And again, we're just here to help and support you and guide you and consult. Really, no pressure, no obligations for anything, just helping you figure out what you want to do, what you want to create, where you want to go, what to look at if it's outside of CircuitStream. Just any insight and resources that we can offer, we're always more than happy to do so. And for the 2 large courses, the 10-week and specifically this XR Project Accelerator course, we do have payment plans and financing options available, from 3-month plans to 6-month plans, and over the year, 12-month installments or the 12-month payment plan. So if you're interested in learning more, or just to get some, speak to one of us, whatever it may be, download the syllabus or apply now at circuitstream.com/learning, and we would be more than happy to help you out any way I can there. So feel free to get in touch with us. Check it out, circuitstream.com. But it was great to have you all here. I would like to invite Shannon and Jerry back onto the stage here slowly, just so we can answer some questions that I see in the chat here that we have in the questions tab. And maybe just have another friendly chat together and see how things are going with each other here. Awesome, good to see you, Shannon. Good to see you again, Jerry. So let's see now. Danielle just recently posted a question here in the chats tab. So Jerry, do you want to cover this one? She's asking, if she doesn't have a headset, how would she approach QA, for instance?
Sure. So it's hard, I must assume. There are a couple of alternatives. Like in the 10 weeks course, we write with the students an alternative for moving around the VR space using the keyboard and the mouse. So that's not completely impossible, but the experience is not the same. So you're not going to be truly testing your application. There are a couple of other alternatives that can stream from Unity to your mobile. And if you have like a cardboard, you can use that to test. It's not the best experience as well, but it's possible. Mm-hmm. So we have a couple of alternatives. So for the 10 weeks, it's not a huge problem. For you're actually building your Unity skills, so you can test to that extent without a headset. For the accelerator, I strongly recommend that you actually have a headset, because the interactions that we develop in there are a lot more complex. Like we have physical interactions. We're gonna be working a lot with polishing the hand, how it feels, how it grabs stuff. And without a headset, it's quite complex to test, not impossible, but I strongly recommend it. So there are a couple of alternatives, not the best thing. For the 10 weeks, not a problem at all. for the accelerator, actually, it's like a challenge, a barrier. You're not going to be experiencing the project fully, but well, we can help with a couple of alternatives.
Now, Shannon, I'd like to ask you a question, kind of stemming off of this headset here. What headset did you join in with Circuit Stream, or did you have? Let's start from the beginning. What headset did you work with when you first got into AR and VR?
Oh, wow. The first headset that I ever did any testing with was the Oculus DK2, I think. And so it was very much a tethered headset. For this project, when I first started the first course with Circuit Stream, I was using the Oculus Quest, the first one. And I just used my charging cable to connect it to my computer.
And oh, there it is, Immertech. Yes, I do see it. Did you get the chance to check out the Quest 2? Or is that something you may be looking at?
Yeah, so I checked it out. I borrowed it from work for a couple of days to look into it. So it's on my radar, but so far I've just been mostly working with the Quest 1.
Right, makes sense. And I do want to say, and Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, that the Quest 1 was discontinued because now that they have the Quest 2 available. Not exactly entirely sure, but either way, I think the Quest 2, for Danielle, if you are exploring some headset options, the Quest 2, I think, is the same price as the Quest 1 is at the moment. It's cheaper when it. Yeah. So check it out if you are exploring headsets. Quest 2 is something we like to suggest and always kind of offer there. For all of us.
Just to add on top of that, depending on where you are, you might have like easy access to a Quest 2 if you're in the state North America in general. But where I am, for example, that's important. Like I cannot have an Oculus Quest 2. There are no official resellers here, so we can still find a couple of Oculus 1. So if that's your situation, that's an amazing headset for learning and testing stuff, especially if you have like a good computer, as Shannon just mentioned. Like you can link that to your computer and play wherever you want to. You just need to have like a specific computer, but that's my case. Like I still use the Oculus One, and that's perfect for me. I can develop, I can test, I can teach with that. So if you cannot have access to a Quest 2, if you cannot afford an Valve Index, the Quest, well, that will do. That's okay.
Perfect.
I know a lot of people are selling their Quest 1s right now on the VR port. So it's not, a reputable seller, but it is out there and cheaper.
I think one of my friends was looking at the same thing. Like, someone got the Quest 2. I don't want the Quest 1 anymore. I'm holding on to mine. This could be, the antique, the first wireless headset out there. But there's a question here from Karina that I'm going to direct to you, Shannon, and Jerry, feel free to shed some light on it after. But Karina's asking, she's interested in storytelling animation with VR, something like what these studios have done with Crow, the Oculus did with Lost and Henry. But she, kind of, and don't want to say similar to you, Shannon, but she's new to this medium and she's wondering where to start. Could you shed some light on where she could start? What maybe software she would need to cover or learn? Is it Unity or something else should focus on?
Yeah, so I actually very highly recommend the free workshops that Circuit Stream has. Those are a really great place to start because you can, in an hour or two, develop an app and they walk you through every step of the way and tell you what to download and everything you need. So that was honestly the first time that I built something that actually worked, was going through one of the Circuit Stream classes. There are other YouTube explanations and tutorials out there, but I found that the walking you through step by step really helped me. And they also explain exactly what you need to download, what computer requirements you need, all of that stuff. So that's where I started. And then from there, I went and took the full course after I took a couple of the free workshops through Circuit Stream.
Perfect. And I see Dayon just tossed it in the chat there. For anyone who is interested in just checking out some free resources and materials, we host weekly workshops, free to attend, no obligation, all live and online with myself, Kyle, Vlad, Jerry, other instructors and developers. So feel free to check it out, circuitstream.com/workshops there. Now, this one will be for you, Jerry, and this one's coming from John. He's wondering if we have any community-based courses he's really looking to learn alongside other aspiring devs and designers.
Yeah, so if you join any of our courses, be it the 10 weeks course, the short courses, or the Accelerator, you have access to our community. So it's like we have a Slack channel with thousands of professionals in there, people that are graduated from our courses, people that join our workshops, current students. So it's like a very interesting community. But you also have access to private channels only with people on your specific class, on your cohort. So yeah, we have like a very, very heavy community out there, and we learn a lot with people from different backgrounds in there. You can have access to our instructors as well, so you can ask questions, share a project. So yeah, finally, this is one of the benefits of our courses as well. It's not only the live sessions and the one-on-ones, but you also have easy access to other professionals, other students, and other instructors. So maybe I am not able to help you with something. I have never, well, worked with a specific headset, for example, but there's someone there, one of our instructors that is going to be able to help you with that.
Now, kind of stemming off of this community aspect and whatnot, Shannon, tell us a little bit about, some of the relations. You mentioned you still keep in contact with some of the students, aspiring learners and XR professionals. Tell us a little bit more about those connections you made in the class, maybe some other networking opportunities that were presented kind of through the community.
Sure. Well, I mean, we did add each other on LinkedIn and do, the professional networking stuff, but it's kind of nice because I have a very scientific academic background and I didn't have much of a artistic background. So some of the people that I got to talk to, they had done 3D rendering and the art side of things to make things look more polished, and that I kind of struggle with sometimes because I can make a prototype to get my science ideas out there, but it's hard for me to make something look fancy and look nice. So it was nice getting to talk to other people because some people had more software development background, programming backgrounds. Some people had more artistic backgrounds. So it was nice like kind of seeing everyone together in one place, because I think if I had a question about like which art style should I go with here? Like it was, I got more feedback from the people that I was in the class with. So not just the instructors.
Perfect. Now, with that, I'll see if Dayon can get some ammo and throw it into the chat while we mention it here. But I believe, you've always kind of been familiar with the Women in XR, Women VR group. Tell us a little bit more about that group that you're a part of. And I believe that there's also a webinar workshop that you're hosting next week with MedVR, if I'm not mistaken. So tell us a little bit about, some of those things that you're working on right now.
Sure. Yeah. So next week I am giving a talk with MedVR, and that is on the science behind virtual reality in the healthcare training field. So I'm really excited to be talking about that because we'll be going through the science of stereoscopic streaming in medical training field, which is what I'm working on right now. So that's really exciting. And it's part of an overall community of medical professionals and VR, AR professionals working together to make sure that the technology is safe and effective and useful in the medical field before it's going out there. And it's in collaboration with a bunch of other groups, including people who worked with the Women in VR groups and a bunch of other medical groups as well.
Perfect. Well, we'll share that with the people who joined us today. We'll follow up with some communications there. If any of you are interested in checking that webinar out or those groups, feel free to check it out, and you'll see Shannon again there as well.
Yeah.
Now, I did see a couple of other questions here. Let me just end this one. So this one is for you, Shannon, from Devante. Can we know more about your design research, how that looks like for XR, and how having the PhD or not impacts those opportunities?
Yeah. Wow. So that's a big question. So yeah, my PhD is in human factors, and human factors is really the study of how to make technology safer and easier to use. It includes a lot of usability principles, heuristics for how to design things to make them more intuitive for people. It's interesting because, especially in AR and VR, because it is a newer medium, there's a lot of room to play with interactions that haven't been really done before. So there's a lot of room to research what is the most intuitive interaction here? What's the best placement for this user interface? What's easier or harder for people to do in this new medium where a lot of people don't have any prior experience with AR or VR? So there's so much room to play with it and make the designs new and interesting, whereas a lot of 2D designs have been around for a long time. So there's a lot of research areas here as to how do you make this technology safer and easier to use? And then also on the evaluation side, how do you make sure it works before people actually use it in the real world? So there's so much to do in this area. I highly encourage more research, both on the user and industry side and also on the academic training side and education side.
Perfect. And then let's see who this one would be directed to. I mean, any of us could answer it, so I'll just toss it live here. What is the overall skill set that a person should hone in on if they want to be truly job ready and hireable at the end of our Unity course, or let's say any course, just to make it broad? Jerry, would you be able to speak to that?
Sure. Actually, that's a very, very complex question. So what I usually tell my students is to have like a nice portfolio. So take every single opportunity to build a project. In the classes, we're going to be building simple projects, but if you're able to dedicate some time to polish them or to add more features to them, it's going to give you skills to be independent. So we're going to make you hireable, as you call that, is being independent. Like you need to be able to write things. You don't need to be able to do every single thing because there are different levels. Like, well, I have been working with Unity since the start, so I'm probably going to be able to solve more complex problems than someone that is starting. But you should be able to navigate in an independent way in the interface, solve simple projects, integrate features to code that already exist. So what I suggest is trying to make as many projects as you can. So if the instructor gave like an example of a project during the class, get that when you have time and expand that, add more features to that, polish that, change the assets, make that look beautiful. So you can actually, if you are in an interview, you can discuss from a technical level, what are the challenges, what did you do to solve the problem? And you can show that you can actually do things, make things there. Yeah, I think that's I would say that's like the best practice, or the best path to get you into the market. Another thing that you can try is like a different path, but it's getting certification. So Unity have a couple of certifications. If you are able to pass, for example, an associate level certification, it means that you are at a certain level. If you can pass like a professional or an expert one, it's just attesting that you know things. But being really honest, it's quite new. I think it's going to be more and more important over time. But right now, having a solid portfolio and the ability to actually build projects, even though they are super simple, on your own, like with independence, I think that will be the best way to go.
I'd agree as well. I'd agree. And you mentioned something I thought was quite important there was, you can build something out, you can have a portfolio, but really knowing how to speak to those projects, right? Detailing the steps you went through and the ins and outs of it, and that's what really differentiates. You've got engineers, let's say you've got the professionals, you've got the artists. If you understand the whole process and you can speak to the little points in those projects or apps you've created, really show that you know what you're talking about and you know how to put it together and everything, that's going to set you up for success 100%. Let's see if there's any other questions. I think that's it for the questions tab here. I'll take 1 minute just to see if there's any last questions coming into the chat or the questions tab. But with that, again, feel free to check out. There's Devontae, Shannon Bailey. I'm nerding out. Thank you. I have a master's in interaction design and electronic arts. I'm considering the PhD route eventually, but grateful to hear more.
Yeah, I will say, I don't think you need a PhD to be in this field. I think that my PhD has helped me with what I'm doing, but just as Jerry is mentioning, just showing a portfolio and being able to describe what your part in it is important, because there's somewhere, all of these are teams. So there's something for everyone on all of these teams of development.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Like, well, a PhD helps you a lot because it builds like a specific type of thinking on how to solve problems in a different way. But that's not always necessary if you want to pursue a job in the VR industry. I started a PhD and I quitted that because it was not for me. Like it doesn't help with my career. Like, yeah. So I don't think that every single one should or need that. A master's is different. Like I suggest a master's degree for every single one because yeah, it just changes your way of thinking. It just changes your way of solving problems. Like having access to science is a beautiful thing. But a PhD is like if you want to be a professional researcher, if you really want to dig into that. Otherwise, well, it's not going to get to like better jobs in the development side. So maybe in universities, in the research field for sure, but not as a developer. So it's just something that I always tell my students to think about, especially the ones that are like at the master's level already. It's like 4 years of hard work, and maybe depending on what you are planning, that's not for you. So yeah, but cool. But if you were into research, that would be amazing. Like interaction design is something that there are not lots of researchers out there yet, even though it's super, super important. So if that's the route you're planning, that would be amazing as well.
Fabulous. And then Danielle, thank the team and yourself, Shannon, for joining us today. She said she's currently pivoting, changing careers, no college degree, but a ton of success in leadership and marketing, looking to become a full stack dev and move into AR, VR, machine learning, AI in the future. So, hopefully, Danielle, you can join us for some workshops, webinars. Feel free to reach out to us for any information and insights. We'd love to help you out there. But let's see, I believe that might be it. So with that, I do want to wrap it up here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for the XR Project Accelerator course information session. Jerry, as always, thank you very much for joining myself and the team on these webinars and info sessions. Shannon, thank you so much for your time today. It's always great to see you and have you with us. I really do appreciate it. We all really do appreciate it. Again, if anyone has questions for Shannon, let us know. We'll be sure to let Shannon know of those questions. But again, Shannon, really can't thank you enough. It was great to have you, and I hope we can have you on another workshop webinar, maybe related to some of your research you've done with your current work.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Again, feel free to reach out to any of our team members. We're always more than happy to help. Jerry, thank you again. Shannon, thank you. Webcam high five. Appreciate it. Happy hacking, and have a wonderful, I believe it'll be afternoon, evening, maybe depending where you're tuning in from. But either way, have a wonderful Thursday, maybe Friday on your end for some of those abroad. And hope to see you on some other workshops, webinars, by email, call, whatever it may be. But thank you again, everyone. And hopefully we'll see you all soon.